This episode of A.C.M.G. Presents Talk Time Live is brought to you in part by Viewfinder's Identity Search and Design. Your choice for web design, graphic design, and all multimedia development needs. Visit VFISAD.com and let us bring your vision to reality.
This is Charlotte Chung.
And Fred Tatasciore.
And you're listening to
A.C.M.G. presents
Talk Time Live.
Welcome to the show to give you all the news, views, and opinions in the world of gaming. This is A.C.M.G. Presents Talk Time Live Extras Select Start with your host, Xavier Josiah. Power up and game on.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is A.C.M.G. Presents Talk Time Live Extra Select Start. I am your host, Xavier Josiah. I hope everybody's having a great week. We had an explosive week here in Philadelphia. If you're a wrestling fan, and you're totally not under a rock, you knew what was going on. AEW, All Elite Wrestling, came into town and blew the roof off. It was absolutely fantastic. One of the best times I had at a live wrestling event in quite some time. And yeah, I went to the NXT last year at the Fillmore, which is like a very small, intimate arena. Had a great time there, but this like tripled it. Like honestly, the pageantry, the presentation, the wrestling itself, just everything about it was just top notch. These guys are doing a really great job so far, and this is their third episode, and they did not disappoint at all. I was really happy. I got a chance to see some of the ACMG members. Shout out to my man Rich over there from the ACMG group, one of my old friends, and his son, Little Rich. It was awesome to see him. He grew up so much. I got to hang with my brother-in-law. He was there as well. A few other people I got a chance to see, but the one person I got to see that I knew that was going to be there, and I called him on Twitter, and I decided to check up on him, and he was there hosting the AEW pre-show on Fight TV, and that was my man Josh Chernoff. You guys have been listening to the show. Earlier this year, I had a chance to have him on the show. He used to host or co-host with the one and only legendary Bill Apter. If you're a wrestling fan, if you're really a wrestling fan and you don't know the name Bill Apter, you cannot claim yourself as a wrestling fan. Bill Apter is legendary. Pro Wrestling Illustrated's writer and editor. Man, he's been around for ages, but he did a podcast with him, and Josh was his co-host, but Josh then moved on to do his own show, which is called So Says Chernoff on Fight TV. And in the midst of All Elite Wrestling coming out, they somehow struck a deal where they were able to come up and produce a pre-show on Fight TV, and Josh just happened to be hosting that event. And let me tell you, talk about somebody who started off and ran rapidly with his journey to becoming a analyst or a commentator, if you will, and hosted his own show, and then furthermore working with one of the hottest promotions in wrestling, in the wrestling industry today. That's mind-blowing. And I talked to him, and he was just like, yeah, I can't even describe what I'm like. This is surreal. I'm like, yeah, pretty much. So, you know, I got a chance to finally meet him in person. He's absolutely as great as he was on the show. And we are going to work on getting him back on the show again to talk about this really rapid journey that he's taking right now, as well as his view on what is on the wrestling industry in general right now. Because his show, So Says Chernoff, is it's a entertaining look. And I say entertaining, more like comical look at what's going on in the wrestling industry. Almost, and he produces the show in the same way that the Daily Show is produced. So this is like think of the Daily Show, but it talks about all wrestling and the politics that goes on there, and you know, behind the scene things that goes on there. So I watched it quite a few times, and I enjoy it as well. He does a great job, and that's why he's working with Fight TV more and working with AEW now. To do the pre-show, and he's interviewed virtually all of the talent in AEW so far. So it's awesome. It's pretty darn awesome to see him, rise so quickly, and I look forward to having him back on the show. But it was great to see him there, and you could see me. Me and him got a chance to take a picture near ringside. The cool part was we were actually going to go to the actual ring and take this picture, but they were just taking it down. So it was like, we don't want to interfere with it, but it was just awesome that he suggested to do that. So we took it like right at ringside over there. And it's just awesome to see him. By the way, shout out to whoever designed his tie. It's a really cool tie. It has it has a picture of it has a design of a dynamite with the AEW logo on there. And then there's the fuse that lights up with his logo on the very top of the tie. And the tie was just tight. It was tied perfectly. This dude is awesome. So shout out to him. It was great to hear from him. And we will have a very special wrestling-related exclusive in the near future. Guaranteed. I'm just waiting for the right time. I want AEW to keep moving and keep going where it's going. And then we'll have him on back to get his views on what happened there and whatnot. But, ladies and gentlemen, I digress. This is Select Start. This is all about video games, so we're going to keep it as that from this point on. This episode, we're going to review 2 games that came out this week. One was Overwatch, which is now in the Switch. I got my views and opinions on that, much to that of others who have reviewed it, and I think there's mostly a positive thing, but there are some differences that we're going to talk about, and overall see if it even compares to the other ones, or if you should invest in that. So we're going to talk about that in this upcoming one. And in our final stage review, we're going to talk about the game I've been waiting for and didn't know if it was coming, but it is Ninja Savior Return of the Warriors. I had a chance to play it, beat it, and I'm going to give my thoughts on it as well. There's some good, there's some questionable things, but overall, I will talk about that there. So let's get into some news. Let's just not waste any time. Something really funny happened on social media just recently in regards to one of the most popular figures in music and in pop culture and social media, Lady Gaga. Never thought you would hear Lady Gaga in this form of genre. Maybe, who knows? But she tends to be, as you know, Lady Gaga is a very eccentric, enigmatic, charismatic, beautiful performer. But she tends to want to go online every once in a while and be very eccentric about her tweets or whatever like that. And this one was kind of interesting. And I don't know if this rubbed people the wrong way or whatnot, or they were, it just felt like almost a trolling type of thing to me. But she tweeted on Twitter and saying, "What is Fortnite?" Okay, you don't have enough friends to ask that question. You really don't have enough friends. Like, why would you even post that on Twitter? Like, there's some things that you just don't have to do on Twitter. And that to me was a little bit rather trolling, or it was thirsty for something. But I think it felt like a troll, because if you wanted to really know what Fortnite is, one, there's the internet, that very internet that she went on to post that, and you can look up Fortnite. You didn't have to tweet that to your millions of followers. That to me was a little bit thirsty, or I don't know, it just didn't come off as a positive thing. It came off a little bit trolling to me. You can look up what it is. You can look up the hundreds of thousands of articles, reviews, whatever, wikis, whatever about the game. Or you can ask friends, because you may have a friend or 5,000 that may have actually played this game and whatnot. I've played the game. I'm not addicted to the game as what other people claim. That game being addictive, that's a whole nother issue. It's not, well, I'm not addicted to cocaine or anything. Nor do I use it either, but it's not to say that it's not addictive. But it's not my type of cup of tea. Let's just put it like that. But nonetheless, she pretty much put it out there. And then I believe she followed up with, "Who is Ninja?" And I guess she tagged him as well. And it led to Ninja like, okay, this is happening. And shout out to my man Ninja. Of course, you guys, if you're gamers, even if you're not a Fortnite fan, this guy has made it crossover fame to a point that even if you don't know what Fortnite is, chances are, even if you're a parent, you know this name. This guy has been all over the place. If you lived under a rock, you don't know who this guy is if you're in the gaming world. Apparently Gaga supposedly is, or whatnot, or whatever. But Ninja replied, and why not? It's Lady Gaga. She's asking who the hell you are. But I think Ninja even knew that this is kind of in an almost condescending type of way, or this is like really felt like trolling. So his reply was short, sweet, and extremely effective. And he replied, "Ask at Drake." And boom, people, there was nothing else that needed to be said. What else is there need to be said from that point? I didn't see if there was any more reply from Gaga from that point, but that was a mic drop moment right there. You know, you can't get any better. If you guys remember, Drake has played Fortnite with Ninja or against Ninja in competition. So like this, and one of the biggest events in gaming history was that Fortnite event, which was in a football field, and it had a whole ton of celebrities and social media influencers. And, you know, I'm like, this is insane. Like, how do you not know? Even if you don't play, you still know. There's some things that people don't partake in, but they still are aware of it. They are still aware of it. To me, this was like, what was the point of this? What was entirely the point of? There's just some things you just don't have to do. And I think Lady Gaga is somebody who is at a level who doesn't have to step that low. This, I hate to say it, and I hate to put it into this type of comparison, but this is kind of Trumpish. She was trumping on this one. This is the type of thing that Donald Trump would do. Like, concern himself with something that he does not have to. And voice his opinion about something when there's far more important things going on in the world for him to be concerned about. Gaga, who participates in a bunch of charitable events, and she does a lot for her community, her little monsters or whatever she calls them. She does a lot for them. Why concern yourself with this, and why post this? Why? What was it doing to you? This is what happens when you're famous and you got too much power sometimes. It literally is. It allows you to try to control the narrative of life. And shout out to Ninja for that. For just he didn't sweat it too much. That one reply spoke volumes right there. Because in a sense, Drake is absolutely at the level, arguably maybe more, who knows, of Gaga. And at the moment, I haven't heard any, like Lady Gaga her fame is undeniable. But we haven't heard much about Lady Gaga in quite some time. Drake is always on the news, on TMZ or whatever, like whatnot, about what's going on in his world. I don't understand what led to this. She did not need to do this. I don't understand. It is what it is. And she got what is coming to her. Hopefully she won't do this again. Because again, if she does it again, she will be trumping. You know, let's just like chill. Just chill. Like keep doing what you're doing, which is very good. And that's it. So I just thought that was really, really interesting. And normally I wouldn't mention it. And normally I don't really care about Fortnite enough to mention it. But I thought that was very intriguing. Somebody of her stature to just tweet something like that. Like, again, there's so many other ways you could have found that out. You were literally doing it intentionally. You had an intent, an ill intent possibly, by mentioning that. I don't get it. So, you know, it's not like saying like, that could have been like Ninja coming like, what is music? Who is Lady Gaga? You know, or what is pop music? What, you know, this, put the shoe on the other foot. It's still ill intent. So, just wanted to point that one out there. That was a very interesting thing right there for me. GameSpot.com, in other news, talks with Crystal Dynamics' Scott Amos about whether any other characters may be appearing in the upcoming Marvel Avengers game. We've been talking about this game for the past few weeks. So, constant new developments has been showing on this thing, and it's looking more promising by the minute. I know there's people who want to see many more characters in this game. I think that we will not see. If you're looking for the amount of characters that you're looking for in Marvel Ultimate Alliance, I think you're going to be dearly disappointed, because there's no way in Hades that they're going to be able to add that many characters with the quality of power and graphics that this game is going to have. Now, granted, it's not saying that Ultimate Alliance 3 isn't as powerful, but the textures and the layering that they put into that game, it's insane. Like, you won't be able to do that for everybody. So they're going to have to pick very, very, very closely as to who they're going to pick in here. And that was the discussion. That was one of the discussions within this interview that they did and conducted in that article. Mostly the likes of Kamala's best friend, Squirrel Girl, who I absolutely enjoy. Like, I watched the actual, the animated cartoon, Marvel Rising, on YouTube every so often, and there's a new episode out right now that has Siri on there, so I got to check that out. I need to find a way to get I'm subscribed to that, but I never get notifications for new episodes. But there are new episodes on YouTube all the time on Marvel HQ. I highly recommend going out there and checking it out. And they have older episodes of other animated shows that you've watched as well, that you can watch for free. But Squirrel Girl is one of my favorite characters on Marvel Rising. She is the standout character of that. I love her. I absolutely enjoy her. And it's kind of like when you got Kamala, Squirrel Girl shouldn't be far behind. So I thought this was a great question. So they asked whether she was going to be in there, and Scott said that they have had conversations about her and whether she was going to. Well, they had a meeting basically saying that who should show up in the game in their first meeting that they ever had discussing about the game. Although he could not confirm that she would be on there, but he did say that a lot of names were suggested in the game, and damn sure that she was mentioned in the game as well, but cannot confirm whether she would be. Characters I would like to see in this game also, to be honest, if they're going to have like maybe one or two other characters in this game, I wouldn't mind seeing Riri Williams, but the fact of the matter is, will it actually work for the story that they will? And it may not. So I would love to see her maybe in a future game if this works out. But I would like to see her. Vision, I would definitely like to see. I would like to see Vision on Ultimate Alliance 3. To be honest, and he's in the game via story, but I don't know if he's ever going to be in the game via package. And I think that they really kind of dropped the ball on that with not having him, because he looks like a really cool character in the game. So I wouldn't mind having him on there as well. Falcon is another character I think will be perfect for this game. Absolutely perfect for this game. My last one, I guarantee will not be in this game, and that's Miles Morales, the other Spider-Man, or what I like to call the Ultimate Spider-Man in some cases. But it would be weird to have him and not have Peter Parker in there. So I know that's not going to happen, and there's no sense of Peter Parker going to be in this game, and I'll be very surprised if they do, because they're keeping everything other than what they're displaying as closed, tight-knit right there. But it'll be cool. I would like to see Squirrel Girl on there because it just makes sense. Or even if it's not as Squirrel Girl at the moment, because I really got to read up on her. I don't think she's inhuman. I just think she just has the essence of a squirrel or the body of a squirrel. I don't know what her situation was. I know she wasn't a human before, if I'm correct, but I got to look her up. She wasn't like a character that I haven't really been into for years, but recently upon the cartoon and everything, the animated series or whatever, I've grown to like her as a character because they developed her character really to be a really lovable, character in the show. So, other news here. A new handheld system is coming to cater to the retro game fans who love the Game Boy era. And actually, a lot of the old school 8-bit, 16-bit era, if you want to collect. This new system is called Analog Pocket. In a recent article on GameInformer.com, they post an article on their website talking about this new console and what it provides. The company known as Analog, who many of you may recognize this company, they've developed a console called the Super NT. I'm taking this for the Super NES, and Mega SG, which is for the Sega games. They announced this new system, which will allow you to play your favorite Game Boy Color, and Game Boy Advance games. So I think that's pretty cool because that means 8-bit to 16-bit games will be played in here. And from that, they not only will allow you to play those games, you'll also be able to play Game Gear and Neo Geo Pocket, as well as Atari Lynx games using a cartridge adapter that you purchase separately. Now, these games also do note that these are cartridge compatible. So meaning that if you have or can get a hold of certain Nintendo games, or I'm sorry, Game Boy games, or any of the other games that I mentioned, If you the cartridges will be compatible for it. So that's actually, it's kind of cool, but I am going to explain why it's not cool at the same time. So you have those options as well. The company has noted that the LCD screen does provide 10 times the amount of resolution of the original Game Boy, which is actually great because I used to own the original Game Boy many times, and it was the times. There was no such thing as HD, let alone Blu-ray or 4K. When the Game Boy was out, there were still the Mercury monitors, the CRT screens, stuff like that. That's all we had back then. The tubes, So that's all we were working with, but it was still far and away led to what we got now. So in this case, it's very Paleolithic in comparison to what we can do now. Interestingly, they noted that there's also a micro SD slot in here, an original style link plug, and a rechargeable battery that uses USB-C connections. So there is going to be a version for that. If you want to play it on a big screen, like you would with a Nintendo Switch, they got an answer for that as well. They did say that they're releasing an analog dock, which I believe it allows you to port the analog pocket onto the dock station, and along with a HDMI link up to your TV. So you will have that option for that. There will also be options for Bluetooth controllers, as well as a 2 USB port to play 2 controllers in. This system is set to be out in 2020 and will cost you a slightly reasonable $200. Now, in hindsight, this is a cool thing. And if there was no other systems that would allow you to play multiple amounts of games within a SD micro disc or controller, I think this will be awesome. However, you got RetroPie out there, which is not exactly the best thing in the world. Again, I got over 5,555 games in this thing that was installed for me. Some of them are MAMEs, some of them are, ROMs from every single damn system you could ever think of, including TurboGrafx and 64 CD-ROM or whatever like that, and Neo, has all that in there. Games that I've never thought I would be able to play before or ever again, but this, it's like you get that, and I'm pretty sure the prices are virtually the same if you get them, or if you hire somebody, or if you know somebody that can actually put together your RetroPie system and load up the games that you want. I think it'll be fairly reasonable. What I like about this is that this is more than likely guaranteed a really solid system. It looks very solid from what I saw. Hopefully it plays as solid as well. No lags or whatever like that. Now, that's the one thing that the RetroPie does have on certain games, because certain games didn't port properly. But without a doubt, still having that amount of games in one, and a micro SD card, it's not a bad deal. And maybe it just needs a bigger SD card, whatever. I don't know for it to flow properly on some of the games. But for the most part, all of the games, like the games on the Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, all those games, Nintendo SD, all that stuff, plays fluidly on a RetroPie. Some games, some MAME games play okay, and some of them play really well on a RetroPie. So, do I get a system that allows you to play only cartridge-compatible games? Now, granted, I did mention that this has a micro SD slot. They did not say on the article whether that micro SD slot will allow you to play ROMs in the game. Like, where you be able to upload ROMs in the game and allow you to play that. Now, if that's the case, that's something a little bit different, and that may also up the ante of that, then that's awesome. But if it's just for game saves or whatever like that, that's not really worth it. That's to me, it's better. There are better gaming units out there that you can play. There's some portable handheld game systems that have a huge amount of games as well. out there. If you go on, like, if you watch, if you're on social media and you're linked to all this type of genre, those things will come up, and some of them are legit. I dare I say a lot of them are legit that you can get access to out there, that you can play. So I don't know. I don't know about this one. I don't know how well they've been selling the other units and how well they've been selling this. I know that there's a niche crowd for this, but I don't. How much are they making? Based upon how much they're, using capital-wise to really put this all together and sell it, manufactured. So that's an interesting thing. I know you got the Nintendo Classic and all this stuff out, but even the Nintendo Classic it's embedded ROMs and an emulated system that you can play. That's pretty much the case. So I don't know. I don't know if the analog pocket is worth it, but it's intriguing at best. So hopefully we'll see more from it as it goes along from there. So I don't know. So let's just go right into the Overwatch review, and then we're going to go to our final stage review and do that there. I want to talk about Overwatch because, I'm putting this out there now. I'm putting this out there as a disclaimer right now that as I'm reviewing this as a casual fan. In no stretch of form, and am I an e-leaguer? Am I a hardcore gamer? I am doing this as a person who does not play this game as intently as most people. So I'm only giving my experience as a casual gamer. And my experience as a casual gamer differs and definitely contrasts from those who are a little bit more hardcore about it. But I still feel that the casual fan is an important aspect of this as well. Is this, from a casual fan, you ask, can you pick up and play and enjoy this game? As a casual fan, I can, and I'll tell you why. So, the Nintendo Switch now has Overwatch, and there are some contrasting differences here, and contrast is definitely going to be the main thing, the main base word of this entire thing. There are some differences but this game is still very enjoyable in my opinion, while not at the level of the competing consoles such as PlayStation 4 and Xbox. I'm pretty sure this plays on PC as well. So, especially on there, because it's like, God, the frame rate on that one is probably crazy. But although there are slight graphical differences in frame rate, which I believe is like 30 frames per second in comparison to those other consoles, the game visually still looks fantastic, with very well detailed characters and map designs to me. And I look at this game and I do notice the difference between the one I have on a PlayStation 4 and the one I'm playing now. But if you played and enjoyed the versions on the console, you should still feel, in my opinion, comfortable here, but not in a competitive way, not like in a really intently competitive way. Like, maybe you can get through this like you in the same fashion. Maybe the controls do feel the same way that it does on the PlayStation. To me, it did. I didn't feel too differently. I know frame rate is a little bit different in there, but I didn't look. I've played games like, and I'm always going to compare this because this still possibly is the worst game that has ever come on the Switch. And it's sadly because I'm a big fan of wrestling and WWE 2K19. As much as I played that game, it still lacked so much. And I think other companies have learned from that, especially NetherRealm with Mortal Kombat. I think the Mortal Kombat, although it doesn't have the graphical power of the other consoles, like this one doesn't have the graphical powers, frame rate wise, it plays fantastic. I say this one plays good, pretty damn good too. I don't know the technical ins and outs of what people are looking for when they play this game. As you know, I'm not a first person shooter fan like that. So, but I can still say I can go into a game, can tell whether it has issues that I feel that really takes away from the gameplay and experience. And I didn't see that. I didn't feel that in this game at all. And trust me, if it did, I would be screaming that I paid money for this. And I've screamed that I paid money for games before and didn't get that experience. This is not one of them right now. And considering that this is a online only and online reliant based game, had no trouble. The game flowed to me the same way that it did on a PlayStation. I had no trouble with it. I had no significant trouble with this game. I'm just pointing it out right now. Now, after reading a few reviews that I've read, I noticed that that each game review had different preferences as far as the particular game control that they preferred. One, I believe I read on Polygon, felt that the Pro Controller was best for them. And I say for them because I've heard other things from other ones. While Kotaku, which is a very famous website, they felt that the Joy-Con felt a little bit better. So, with those two reviews discussing their preferences of controls, it led me to believe that it's more of a personal opinion rather than a real issue of hardware malfunction. And for me, I played the Joy-Cons because I don't own a Pro controller, and I don't really want to own a Pro controller because I don't prefer to play I prefer to play handheld as opposed to on the TV because I like to watch TV while I'm playing. But I felt that I've played on a PlayStation many a times. I've played this. Didn't feel the difference. I felt the controls were extremely responsive. There was no trouble at all. I mean, I had no lag issues. I had none of that. Nothing. The biggest change that this one had as compared to the other ones is the gyroscope motion controls. And they did mention that there were going to be a new way to play. I was hoping they meant a offline mode, and I knew that wasn't going to be the case. But they have the gyroscopic motion control options, which allows you to control the camera using motion features, which I believe is best used for the Nintendo Labo VR visors that you put together, which they do have a virtual reality goggles version of it that you could play. So if you want to play it that way, you could play it for that. Now, I do want to say that if you play this on that and you got motion sickness or whatever, I don't recommend it. Luckily, you don't have to play it. You can turn that off and you can use your regular, analog stick to control the camera and pan it around everywhere. But when it first came on, it really kind of freaked me out in a bit. And I was kind of excited for it, but after like a few minutes, I was like, nah, this is going to make me dizzy. Just keep on doing it this way. If I don't have it connected to a VR goggle, then it's not going to help. But I can see people really enjoying that if they're down with VR and all that stuff, and they like to make sure that they can whip around the corner or turn around as quickly as possible. It does react very quickly, and I do like that the motion controls really do work really rapidly. So if you want to whip to the behind you, maybe like in 90 degrees or 180. You could do it really quickly. It's very responsive. I do appreciate that aspect because if you're playing a first-person shooter game, you need to look from behind you and somebody's coming at you, which they do a lot. And I'm such a noob in this game. I swear to goodness. And I mentioned that at the Overwatch panel when I was playing. I can't play. I get shot in the back of the head so many times, and I tried to ask Charlotte Chung, who's Diva, and Fred Tatasciore what was their game level. They would not reveal it, which means they sucked. Because if they were really good, then they would be awesome. I think Charlotte Chung probably is a better gamer than both of us. I really think she is. But honestly, I really didn't have a problem with this. And the other cool part about this game is if you bought the Legendary Edition, it comes with a 3-month membership of Switch Online. So I already have a Switch Online, but it adds on to it, I believe. So that's already cool. You also get through 3 golden loot boxes. You get 15 skins with hundreds more skins to unlock. You get 31 heroes and 28 maps. Of course, pretty much everything that you get from the other 2 versions is in. Just plays a little differently. It just plays just a tiny bit differently. I didn't have a problem with it. Right now, there is a Halloween themed mission in arcade mode that I felt was really a lot of fun. I had no trouble with this. This was a really fun mission to give you some Halloween themed loot boxes in here, and you played against AI characters and you teamed up with other people. I had a lot of fun playing that game. I had a lot of fun playing those Halloween themed modes in there. So those were cool. I still, if you're not a really hardcore gamer, like training mode is the best way to play this game and not get totally, massacred by more hardcore gamers in here. It just is, because you're playing against AI characters and you're teaming up with other gamers. So it's the best. I still don't understand why training mode is not an offline feature. I mean, like, especially for this being a Nintendo Switch, I really don't understand that. I think honestly, this is my thing. If they made training mode an offline mode, or made an offline mode just for the Switch, because it is a handheld game and the idea of the Switch is to go on the road or on a go while being able to play some of your favorite games. This being one of the most popular games out there, I don't understand why they don't make an offline mode just for... Because the great part about it is that people have been clamoring for an offline experience with this game. So if you create an offline mode that people can take on the road, I think it will help make... Not that the Nintendo Switch need it, but I really think it will help make the Switch even more a must-have, because you have an exclusive version of Overwatch with an actual offline mode. I don't know, people. I don't know who thinks of what, but that's the thing. You could also, if you like, 9 chances out of 10, if you're getting this game, 9 chances out of 10 that you have it on the other systems and you own a PlayStation 4 or Xbox or both, and you have these games on there. So if you have an account on there, you can link that account, or a Blizzard Entertainment account. You can link that account onto this, and your records and everything will still be there. So I do want to note that while playing through this game, there was no lag time issues, anything noticeable like that made me want to cry bloody murder. I had issues with, there was a time that I had issues with Mortal Kombat 11 in the beginning, because it was they had a lot of issues, but upon a few like updates and patches, it works really great now. It works fantastic. You got to remember, this game just came out. It's an online-based game, so if you're having issues, there might be more of an issue with your bandwidth more than it is this game. Like I said, I have a really good bandwidth here. I got Xfinity, and I really haven't had any trouble with this. Nor did I had any. I really, honestly, no lags, no anything. I didn't nothing blatantly noticeable. I played this game the same way and with the same fluidity that I played on the PlayStation 4, with the exception of the frames per second. I mean, that's pretty much it. But even still, with 30 frames per second, doesn't hurt me. I'm not going to be all dramatic like most people are or have been about this game because they love it so much. I mean, I get it, but chill out. It's not that bad. Now, granted, if you are an E-leaguer, of course, they're not going to play this game intently. They're going to have their consoles. They're going to play. They're professionals. I would say this version of Overwatch is not for hardcore E-leaguers. If you really want to be an E-league level gamer for this game, you play it on the PlayStation. If you want to be a casual leisure fan, this is for you. This version is for you. So, because honestly, I really doubt that this will be a regulated version that you will be playing for the PlayStation on Overwatch League. I really don't see that happening. I'll be surprised, and who knows? Anything can happen upon a few patches later that say like, okay, this is standard. This is standard issued. Who knows? But I really doubt it. Again, so far I've played with Baptiste. I've played with Diva, Soldier 76, Sigma, Roadhog, Genji, and Hanjo with no problems. Absolutely no problems. I've read that people are having some trouble. I don't understand. Sometimes when you get lags, it's not a them, it's a you thing. So you kind of got to take it from there. I really haven't, and I'm stationed at home with a normal, bandwidth. your normal everyday bandwidth right here. So I had no trouble. I had no issues with it. The one thing to notice is that when playing in the maps in the game, multiple players on the Switch version doesn't show all of the character models on the screen, especially from afar. Sometimes characters do appear as orbs in some sort of red specter, look until they approach you, which again, it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. It doesn't bother me one bit. Of course, I'm a casual fan. I don't really put it intently. There are games that I will take. I have my, pick of games that I would really be a big deal in. So I get the understanding of how people will take this, but I also take it from a perspective of like, I have the PlayStation version. If I was really hard on this game like that, like other people are, I'm gonna play on that. But if I'm on the road and I just want to play it just to have fun, and I'm not trying to play a serious game, then take it on the road. That's what you have. Enjoy it for what it is. So, yeah, again, that doesn't bother me at all. They took a page from great games like Mortal Kombat 11, like I've just mentioned. They just allowed to sacrifice a little bit, which was kind of the graphical differences, and for the frame rate. And I think it worked, in my opinion. I really think it worked. It worked for me. I played this game for quite a few hours, had no problems. Does the same exact way and does the same exact thing that the PlayStation version has done. With just a few significant differences that don't really affect it. My only negative from this game was the same negative that I had for the PlayStation 4. And that was, once again, this game doesn't have offline mode and you can't play it. So that was my only negative to that. A game like Overwatch should, on the Switch, should have an offline mode. That was my only hill. It would definitely make a big difference. Have a versus mode on there in the near future or something like that. It would help the Nintendo Switch to have it. It would make people want to get a Nintendo Switch version a lot better. Or more. I mean, there's people, surprisingly, there's still people who are out, who are just trying to cop out. But I think this Christmas is going to change that. The Nintendo Switch, they got the new light now. I think it's going to help people jump on even further. But the other issue is that that this thing doesn't have a story mode, and that's kind of a minor issue. That's a personal thing for me. I mentioned it before at the Voices of Overwatch panel that I believe they are missing out on the opportunity to create more of a universe, and hopefully they'll do it in the near future with that. I would love to see them have a story mode for this. Maybe the new Overwatch game, if that ever comes out. God, I hope if they come out with that game, it'll be something totally different. They give us what exactly we want. That would just change everything. Overall, this game, to me, didn't miss a beat in a sense as a casual fan. And if you are a fan of this game and on the other systems, and you like to take it on the road and enjoy everything that you love about this game, I think you should get it as a really cool fan, provided that you have a Wi-Fi connection of where you're going. While this doesn't provide the power of the Xbox or the PlayStation 4 version or even the PC version, I find it hard to see how a person can enjoy this. It's without trying to be pretentiously professional about it, thinking that they are the official word on what this game provides. Because, there are people out there like that. But it is a solid but not superior port that can provide more leisure than serious fun for this game. If you want to play this game more competitively, then I suggest invest in the PlayStation 4 and Xbox version. But 9 chances out of 10, you have those already, so you go at it. And if you're worried about your record on your Overwatch account, that could be compromised or could be damaged because of the lack of frame rate or control fluidity that you prefer, then by all means use the Nintendo Switch version as a different account, and then don't link it to your other account until you really feel that you have the same ability to do what you can do there on the other, or just use another account just to play it regardless. That's all you have to do. You don't have to link it to that system. Other than that, I think this game is solid. I think this game was solid for me. I played bad games. I've really played some bad games before, and this is not it. This was really solid for me, and therefore it gets a solid B for me. That's pretty much it. So, ladies and gentlemen, that will do it for this segment. We're going to take a break, come back, and go to our final stage review with our second review, and that is Ninja Savior, Return of the Warrior. I've been waiting to play this game. We're going to find out whether it was worth the wait. We'll find out right after this. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Dak Xavier Josiah, the host of A.C.M.G. Presents Talk Time Live, the podcast. You want to catch up with all of our podcast shows and hear from some of the hottest names in all of anime, comics, movies, and games, such as...
This is Miley Flanagan, the voice of Naruto.
This is Stephanie Shea, the voice of Sailor Moon.
This is Ruben Langdon, voice of Ken Masters and Dante from Devil May Cry.
Hey there, this is Kyle Hebert, the voice of Ryu from Street Fighter V.
This is Chris Battle, character designer of Teen Titans Go.
Here's your chance to check out all of that and more on TalkTimeLive.com. TalkTimeLive.com provides all of our ACMG content with new and previous episodes, exclusive interviews, articles, and much more. Visit TalkTimeLive.com and let us help you learn to let go, live life, and love all things ACMG.
Talk Time Live.
We're back with our final stage review, and it is my review of Ninja Savior, Return of the Warrior. Before I even give that review, first of all, if you guys notice I'm a little bit different this week in the voice, that's because I went to AEW Dynamite, and there's the results of how I felt about it, by the sound of my voice, if that even recollects anything. Also, just want to point out before I came back, I just saw some news for those who are still playing Soul Calibur out there that a new season is coming out soon, and they will include new moves for each character in there. So stay tuned for that. That was one of my. It's not one of my most disappointing games this year, but it's a solid fighting game. But I felt like it should have brought way more than what they did, and even with the seasons and all the stuff, Bandai Namco needs to restructure how they present these new characters and these new things. But it's coming. Season 2 is coming. I don't know if I'm going to jump on that. I know Hamaru from Samurai Showdown is going to be on there, which is awesome. And that might be the really reason why I would get that game. But if it's just going to be getting, fighting game characters and they're not immersed into the universe like, say, Terminator, has been, and all of the characters from Mortal Kombat has been immersed in the universe, then I think it's a waste. So, for those who still are playing that game, just get ready. That's coming out there. They just posted about like a half hour ago upon me announcing this right now here. Of course, if you're listening to it, it's already out there, so go check it out. But I'm here to talk about Ninja Savior, Return of the Warrior. This game, I've been waiting for this game to come out since I announced it. I've always been a fan of the original Ninja Warrior game, which was in arcades by Taito. If you guys remember, I talked about it because they brought it out. They brought it out for the Nintendo Switch and the arcade archives, and as well as the PlayStation, and I'm pretty sure the Xbox has it as well, and PC and Steam has it as well. The original game, which was an arcade game with two splits, was two screens just put together, and it's an awesome thing that they did back then, involving two assassin android ninjas that sole purpose was to actually go about killing off. This guy looked just like Vladimir Gorbachev or Pierre. I forgot the guy. Gorbachev. I'll just say Gorbachev, which was the former, I guess, president of Russia at the time. So. I said Miguel? No, whatever. But their prime mission was to get the prime minister or whatever like that of whatever country that they were going after. And at the end, I didn't realize this because I finally beat that game for the first time, that the androids are bombs. They're literally bombs, and their mission is to cease and desist all of the regimes out there. So you're fighting hordes and hordes of army and militant soldiers to get to this guy. And once you get to the guy, you know, spoiler alert from 1986 or something, the whole thing blows up. And the whole entire, you know, headquarters blows up and everything, and mission accomplished. I did not know that. And lo and behold, you know, they have the sequel out. And the sequel is kind of the same thing in a sense. This puts you in position of android robots created by the scientists known as Mook, Mulk, M-U-L-K, like rhymes with Hulk, with one prime mission, and that is to take out the U.S. President Bangler, who has declared martial law in order to put a stronghold on the country. I don't want to say it, but just listen to the storyline and look at the comparisons. Just saying. And take note that this game was out way before. This is not a new game. This is a remaster of a game that was dated back from there. So don't compare it to whatever's going on right now. Just saying. But yeah, you know, just saying. The Ninja Warriors once again is on a hunt to take out the dangerous threat, to bring balance, order, and freedom for the country. So, Ninja Savior is a throwback classic side-scrolling action game of old. Yet, this one in particular is a lot more enjoyable to play. And I've played the original Super NES one because I own it. So I had a chance to play the original one, and I do see various differences, a variety of differences from this game that is on here from the old one. For instance, they have the same 8 levels, straightforward, take no names, button mashing fun that you normally would have from the Super NES sequel to the arcade edition. Along with this, developer Natsu Atari gave this game a coat of fresh paint, if you will. If you played the original game like I have on the Super NES, a lot of new changes, such as now there are 2 new characters not seen or played in the original game with their own abilities and fighting style. New moves have been added to the original 3 characters in the game, along with the other characters that you get to play now. The game is totally revamped and redrawn in 16-bit pixel design, as well as the animation with all new audio as well. I mean, like, I recently, before this game came out, I played the original, and the original looks really good. This one looks phenomenal in comparison. Like, they did a really great job redoing this. An online ranking system now has been in place for those who like to keep score, and time attack and hard mode unlocks stages once you completed each game. Now, I was told that if you played the hard mode, you get the character rating as well. I've only played the normal mode and got Yasha, I believe her name is, which I really love because that's like, it's really interesting. The character Yasha is actually another android ninja, but she's kind of a full-figured, you know, woman, a female character, which I think is awesome. I did not expect that at all. She's like fully curved, all that stuff. I was really, really taken back by that. I thought it was pretty cool. And she has an arm stretching, you know, retractable arm ability and whatnot too. She's a pretty cool ass character. The pros that I have for this game: the game is highly entertaining. Although the game seems a bit challenging at first, it gets better if you work aggressively to take out the hordes of military enemies and, you know, ninjas and whatnot just coming at your way. Especially the boss fights. The boss fights, you have to be aggressive. The boss fights, the game really makes you, because there was a time when I was trying to figure out the patterns of the actual boss fights, which there are patterns. But at the most part, it's just button mashing. You just got to aggressively button mash and get as many hits as possible before they hit you, because if they hit you, they take out more energy from you than you do to them. So the multiple hits that you give them, it eventually adds up. But if they hit you once and you have to block, and you just hold the button down to block, and you got to block at the right time, otherwise they will take out a lot of energy and take you out really quickly, which is fair. It's like you gotta play it. Timing is the key in this game for that. The redrawn characters and stages are beautiful, and the animation flows fluidly as you battle through stages. The ability to play as 5 characters with distinct abilities add much more replay value to the game. While this is not exactly, it's a fun game, but you will kind of be annoyed to some cases. But well, for me, I was trying to beat it before I had to leave to go to the AEW Dynamite show, and I managed to do it. So, and I wanted to beat it before I got on this show, which I did. So it might be just that, and now I can play more leisurely and have a little bit more fun playing it and just enjoy it without having to rush to get to this point. So that's that. While it's not any stretch by any means or any stretch deep in gameplay, it does provide a means to master the movesets of each character to improve the gameplay experience in the next run of the game, which, again, I'm a little bit more aware of what to do now playing through this game. So my only con to this game, and there's only really a rare amount, so that's actually a good thing. The only con to this game is a very significant one. Ninja Savior does not have any way of saving during any part of the game, which means that in order to beat the game, you cannot shut off the game, or you can put it on sleep mode, but you can't shut off the game or play another game until you play through all the stages. Now, once you beat a stage, once you play through a stage, it'll unlock a time version. Now, I don't know if I haven't played the time attack mode yet, and whether it will allow you to advance to another stage while playing that, or is it just one stage each? I don't know. But I just felt the idea of that game should have been that they allowed you to, play through the game and save, because it's not an easy game to play. And then what if you want to play something else? That means you got to turn it off, turn it back on, and play it all over again. And there's like 8 lengthy stages in this game. So for me, that was kind of a letdown. And I don't know if there's any codes or anything in here that allow you to skip stages or whatever, whatnot. But I just feel like totally old school. But I just felt like that was a ball dropper right there when it came to that, because we're so far in advance in the games, and even if it is a retro throwback of a game, come on, you got to at least step up a little bit more and add more to this. And a save mode and allow you to save it in certain stages or autosave would have been a great help. But that to me was a significant and somewhat annoying factor to this game. Doing so will, just cause you to start from the beginning, and that sucks. That really sucks. Overall, though, I was very excited to play this game. I didn't know if this game was going to come out because it came out way later than the Japan version, which came out literally a week after their release of the original Ninja Warrior game. And I felt that normally when a game comes out in Japan eShop, it normally comes out the day after. And it didn't come at all. And I didn't think we were going to. I don't know why we didn't, but it's here. I had the chance to play it. And I got to say, I enjoyed every bit of it. I enjoyed it a lot. If you played the original NES game, this has more to offer. And I think you want to go back into this game and, enjoy for what you enjoyed before. I really enjoyed it a lot. For those who played the original game, definitely you will enjoy it. For those who have not, it's a brand new experience for you, and I think this is a really cool, awesome action-packed game to play. So many things you could do with this game. Whether you played the arcade original, played both games, or never played the game at all, Ninja Savior Return of the Warrior is fun and enjoyable to get your hands on. Therefore, if I give this a grade, it'll be a B+. And I would have probably given it an A had they not had, if they would have added a save mode to this game. That would have been such a great help. But that's my deal. I still say it's worth it. Go out of your way and check it out, especially if you loved the game before. You're going to love it even more now. So, folks, that will do it for this edition of Select Start. This Sunday, I will be reviewing the latest Wonder Woman animated movie from WB Animation entitled Wonder Woman Bloodlines. I'm going to check that out today. I got to find out where that Dolomite movie comes out, because I definitely want to review that too. But we're going to be reviewing that, plus a lot of news that came out this week in the world of our favorite fandom, so stay tuned for that as well. Plus, there is a mention of an interview that I was supposed to be doing with the Stereo Titans, the band that was on here before, and I played their music from the Omega Fist tournament that I played. I thought that they were supposed to be on this week. I'm sorry. They actually are scheduled to be on in November. Look, just working every day, all day, and it kind of get, schedules confused. But they will be on in November, and we're going to talk about the new album and their new projects that are going to be down. So I'm looking forward to talking to them. They did send me their new album, so I'm going to check that out and enjoy the old one as well. I absolutely enjoyed that one. So go out of your way to check out Stereo Titans. Go to stereotitans.com. Stereo Titans actually is spelled stereo, Tytans. So they spell Titans differently, but stereotitans.com, I believe, is their website. Go in there, check it out. If you like rock, if you like comic books, well, these guys are for you. One of the baddest Philly groups out there that I've heard in a long time. So go out of your way to check it out, and they'll be on here back soon to find out what's going on in their world as well. So we'll find out for sure what's going on in the world of all things anime, comics, movies, and games. So, folks, that will do it for this edition. On behalf of myself, this is Dak Xavier Josiah saying learn to let go, live life, and of course, love all things anime, comics, movies, and games. This is A.C.M.G. Presents Talk Time Live. I am out of here. Take care, and I'll talk to you guys Sunday. Music for this episode is provided by Game Chops. Check out these great chiptune tracks and more at music.gamechops.com.